Hey everyone, MaidenAriana here. I just wanted to contribute my Vintage Computer Festival Midwest video along with all the other great creators who've created them this year. I go to this show every year if I can. I've been to it consistently since 2019 now, and I typically share a table with my friends Joshua and Aaron. They run the OS2 table there at the Midwest show, and I typically take up just one little slot with one machine that I bring. Last year I brought the AT&T PC6300 that's behind me here, and I was dialing up BBSs with it. So just something fun to do, and also just spend time with my people who are into retro technology and people who are into all aspects of IT and just cool people. We are sitting here in my Retro Alcove. That's the name I give my little lair here. It is the lower level of my townhome. Like my Commodore VIC-20, my Commodore 64 is off screen. I've got my Atari 2600 next to my Atari 800 XL. Behind me here is my software project that is called Ardie. That is more of a modern thing that I have developed for Twitch chat. It is a space-based game that is modeled after Star Citizen, but you play the game and issue commands in Twitch chat, and everyone just gets to kind of have fun doing that while they're watching their favorite streamer, and there's animations going across the screen and everything. It's for Twitch chat engagement, which is a big deal if you're a streamer. And yeah, so that's been a huge project of mine over the last year. And of course it is a custom server setup that I did all by myself. I actually learned how to do pfSense from Lawrence Systems video on YouTube, and I met him at the show at the Vintage Computer Festival Midwest. So that was really awesome to meet him. So I highly recommend these shows. You can get all sorts of fun stuff that's free at the show, but then of course the best thing to do is to go there with money in your pocket to purchase either some good old retro games or hardware, or just spend time learning about things that you didn't even think were possible with this old hardware and old tech. People are doing amazing things with Arduinos and Raspberry Pis, and keeping things alive and keeping things moving forward. Believe it or not, it's so cool. I also want to just encourage anyone who's watching this video and likes this kind of content, especially retro technology, to look up VCFMW18 in YouTube search, and you will find a whole slew of walkthrough videos like this. And I highly recommend subscribing to every one of those creators and just getting to know the vast amount of very good content creators out there whose channels maybe not have gone viral yet, but they are creating lasting, memorable content, keeping the retro hobby alive. So I appreciate every one of them, and there's a few that I think that are my favorites, but I'm not going to mention who they are. One of them in particular I got a photo with that's going to be in my video, so hi Adrian. Anyway, love you all. Hope you like this video.
Keyboard's not a problem.
Please smile.
Well, it's a problem if you plug it in one plug it
It makes no sense on an 88.
So here you're seeing the table that I spent a good portion of the show sitting behind or talking to show attendees from, and of course my cards were there for people to take, and a bunch of people took them, but the device is a 1983 Ferret EEPROM programmer, and it can actually program very early EEPROMs. It was used in used for things like pinball machines even. So it's a really cool device, and I'm looking forward to digging even deeper into using it and programming some EPROMs.
If you have any questions, let me know.
Thanks. And here you'll see Adrian Black from Adrian's Digital Basement. He was actually heading off, I think, to eat some food, but I caught up with him later and snapped this picture. I shared one of my hard ciders with him, and he got to see my device that I brought again, and he's just a very warm, great person who makes some of my favorite retro content online. And I've mentioned before that he was one of the main inspirations for me diving into YouTube and making content related to my retro collection. So thank you, Adrian, and of course many others like you too. But yeah, Adrian has a special place in my heart just because he was somebody I watched a ton during a difficult winter when I was struggling a lot with seasonal depression, and he helped me kind of just get through that winter. So I really appreciate him. And right about here we are beginning to see the display from Nibbles and Bites. June is the creator behind that channel, of course. And as we approach the end here of her table, you'll see she had a very cool Heathkit system that was, as she described it, using solenoids to produce these ticket punch tickets that you could take home with you. And so she stopped me and made one for me. And here's just a quick photo of it.
You should have just sat with it.
So I know other creators have covered this too, but this is Krusty's Corner. Krusty is a Mac SE that had been left outside for a year, buried for 6 months, used as the head of a snowman, left in a creek for 8 months, and they were able to still bring some life back to it. I think they were still working on getting the video back 100%, but yeah, that's pretty crazy how that board could mostly still work. And I'd have to do some research to see how far they really got. And this table right here, I actually was kind of sad they weren't still there. Of course, I was recording later at night to have space to move around and get as much as I could. But that's the AT&T 7300, of course, which I was talking about how I brought an AT&T PC 6300 last year to the show. So I would have loved to have gotten a little demo of that machine, but maybe next year.
For me, I'm just mainly looking for sound effects. When you click on stuff, I want to hear like loops when I'm turning stuff. I want to maybe like a little bit of celebratory tune at the end. I'm not too worried about having background music.
And this was just kind of funny here. I kind of make my way holding my drink out in front of me as if I was out at a club. And by the way, the clicking you hear in the background here, that is June's machine running in the background, punching out something for somebody else, I believe. I kind of slowed down here a little bit just looking, because of course I have an Atari 800 XL and I was looking at the cartridges there. Also, it's nice to see an Ultra Pong system. But then here too on the screen is Ball Blazer, which, you know, that's an Atari 1200, I believe. But I have a video on YouTube of me playing that on my 800 XL and having a perfect game. I loved that game. I love all things soccer as well, so that one's, you know, a very early futuristic soccer game, so really love that game. And here we're coming up on sets of ICs and EEPROMs in there, and of course with the display I had brought that year of my EEPROM programmer, I was interested in looking through this. I didn't get a great chance to look through it, and the person wasn't there, so maybe another time I'll pick up some more EEPROMs, but thankfully I already got quite a few on my hands.
But yeah, it was a Touchpad PS2.
Oh, sure. Yeah, but I wanted to do with those original TV trackpads, right? Because they're all the only thing worse than that is the mouse that I
Winnings. You should please come to the t-shirt desk, pay for those, and claim them. I'd like to get those transactions closed out. Also, you still need a shirt. This year's shirts in youth medium, youth large. Those are the only two sizes remaining. You can still take one home for $25, along with our garage sale merchandise. Thank you for spending your day with VCF Midwest 18.
And right here you'll see one of those LED screens that I had purchased at the show that is programmable, and I will be doing similar fun things with it, and you should see it on both my YouTube and Twitch channel, I would imagine. And I kind of paused to look at this too. I couldn't believe this was only $10, but it's a 1U server for a server rack, and I used a similar Dell system for part of my Star Citizen. I have a 1U Asus server in there and a Dell server, and one is FASSounds only and the other is my Star Citizen program.
That's what you need right there.
Right here I grabbed some of the Retro Tech Crew buttons and sticker, not to be confused with Retro Tech Chris, whose button and sticker I also found. I actually got the chance to meet and talk with Retro Tech Chris. One of his walkthrough videos, both he and Ron's computer videos, helped convince me to still come to the show because they both put those out on Friday night. I'd been debating whether or not to go because, as I mentioned later here, I was dealing with some family stuff that was pretty heavy, and so it was great to come out to the show anyway.
What I can, okay, if you're wandering on your own, okay. No, that's what I was going to check. If I see you sometimes.
That only seems a little bit finicky.
A lot finicky.
It's in the center area.
Something's wrong. I'll have to fix it.
And I kind of stopped here because the Wi-Fi retro modem was one of the things I had wanted to see here at the show. I did get a chance to talk to Scott, who was presenting this and who is selling these online, and I was able to find the website, and I am going to likely purchase one of those. I have two smart team modems that are basically the same cases as the Hayes modem, and I think I'm going to be able to use his device. So I'm looking forward to getting that here in the near future and probably doing a video about it. And of course I had to zoom in on the TARDIS. Sad to say, looking at an AS400 brought me back to clocking in and out on one while working at Staples while I was in college. So, made me feel a little old. I had actually worked both at Staples in the computer department, selling computers, Packard Bell machines mostly back then, and then I also, prior to that job, had been working at Electronics Boutique for about 1.5 years, and that was an amazing job to have back then.
Dims the screen to save the loss.
But then does it remember how to draw everything? Or
Yes,
like,
once you hit
okay.
shift, everything will be immediately back on the screen.
So it kind of doesn't have to do the tuck it all.
The screen is not being refreshed.
You got image also.
And I just zoom in here because I'm fascinated with old vintage photos of workstations, and just I love seeing computers and terminals in their heyday. And this whole Forgotten Machines display was pretty awesome.
Everywhere on the full screen at the same time. That's called a flood node. And the point of what's happening is making the skew electron real hard.
And coming up here to the CBM stuff display, I actually purchased my keycaps, the custom color Commodore keycaps from CBM stuff. And obviously I'm looking forward to that project and being able to make a video of it. So I was really happy someone was there with a set of the keycaps, because I missed out on those Kickstarter programs that were getting all of those made, and that was one of my happiest finds at the show this year.
It's the other diagnostic cartridge says it's a battery.
Alright, just to kind of give everyone a walkthrough of part of what I obtained at the show. So I got Zork 2 and Zork 3 for the Commodore 64. These are the 5¼ inch discs. And of course I do have a 1541 drive that needs to be inspected before I use it. I've had it for a while in a box. I just haven't had time to go through that and give it a once over and make a video about it. But that will be coming up soon. And then here's stuff from Keycaps, who I got to speak to at the show. He makes these custom case badges, and I do intend to place an order with him. I have some 46 PCs and cases that I bought from the 2022 show, and I want to make custom MaidenAriana or Retro Alcove or both badges for some of those machines, so that'll be a lot of fun to do. Then you can also see Pico Gus. That was a very cool device there. 8-Bit Classics. You should go check out that website. Retro Tech Chris's button and sticker that I mentioned earlier in the video. And then these keychains were lots of fun. Of course, the Atari, the Commodore symbol, and then the ghost from Pac-Man. Or Mrs. Pac-Man, not sure which one. And then there is a Commodore magnet there below the ghost. And one of my cards that people thankfully were gobbling up and taking with them from the show. Hopefully some of you found this video by having that card. And then there's Free Geek Chicago, which my friends Joshua and Aaron are helping to bring back. So that's big news. Bet that will once again be around for a resource. I wasn't able to get a lanyard and badge this year because I tend to arrive around lunchtime on the Saturday and spend the entire Saturday there. But by then, the lanyard's already gone. Those cork things there, those are just something I bought to put on the Commodore coasters that are being shown as well. And then I think that's a business card for Bonus Life Computers. And then we're about to pan to the LED screen, which is a very cool programmable device. I mentioned it during the walkthrough. I'm looking forward to putting my own Twitch channel emotes for sure on there, but then also just programming whatever I can think of as fun little things that show up behind me while I'm streaming or doing videos. I don't know what it is with LED screens and even like the marquee type style of just text on an LED screen, but it's just fun to work with those and add things to them. So anyway, this is just a lot of, some of it was free, other things I had to purchase like the coasters and the keychains, but this was just a small portion of the swag. But we'll move over to my workbench and I'll show you two of the bigger items that I was really excited to obtain. Just giving you a quick little pan through of my collection and my Retro Alcove. Just showing everything in its entirety, I guess. There's also some stuff in some closets, but there's the AT&T PC 6300 mentioned in the walkthrough. And then here is what I acquired in the auction this year. It is the VIC-20 printer, but it's the model, of course, is the VIC 1525. And I do have some programs that I wrote years and years ago that I would like to print out, and just, you know, it's nice to have a printer to go with your collected machines, and gonna make sure this is working well and get it set up. But I won this in the auction for the price of $64, which of course anyone who loves Commodore computers knows exactly why that's a significant number. And then I also obtained these keycaps that can be used in either a Commodore 64 or a Commodore VIC-20. And there's a particular machine I have that I will likely end up using them in. There was a case, well, a full Commodore 64 that I had paid for via shopgoodwill.com, and they shipped it to me, but they didn't package it well, and the entire top of it shattered. The plastic, of course, is brittle at times due to the age, and I believe the machine is still fine. That's going to be an interesting video to do, showing the damage and just seeing if I can make sure it's working fully. And then I might use these keycaps along with a different case to just make a cool machine out of it, since I wasn't able to preserve the original case due to the shipping damage. And there you have it. That is my walkthrough, my little contribution to showing off what was going on at the show. I will be producing more retro content soon. I took a bit of a hiatus because my father actually passed away in August, so it's been very rough into the summer, and it's going to take a little while for me to get back to full speed on things. I want to point you all to the list of content creators under the video in the About. You might have to hit the expand to see them all, but I'm going to try and highlight especially some of the creators with smaller channels who you might not find using the algorithm from YouTube. But if you, again, like retro content, retro PCs, 8-bit era, then there is a lot of great stuff out there and a lot of great content creators. So please go out there and share the love, like and subscribe all over the place. Let them know you care, and they'll keep making videos, and so will I. So thanks everyone. It's good to be making a video again. See you soon. Bye.